Welcome back to the coin world. Old coin review and value, the ultimate destination for rare coin discoveries, numismatic treasures, and the hidden value in your pocket change. The 1985 Piso coin features a portrait of Andres Bonifacio, a revolutionary leader and founder of the Katipunero organization that spearheaded the Philippine Revolution against Spanish colonization. His depiction on the coin honored his contributions to the country's freedom struggle. Portrait of Andres Bonifacio facing left, with the inscription, Republica ng Pilipinas, and the year 1985 features the Philippine Tamaraw bubulus mindorensis, a rare and endangered species found only on the island of Mindoro. Below the image is the denomination to Piso. The 1985 Piso coin was struck in copper nickel, making it durable for circulation. Its weight is approximately 11.5 grams, with a diameter of 31 millimeters. The edge of the coin is reeded, a design choice to prevent counterfeiting and clipping. In 1985, the Philippines was under the rule of President Ferdinand Marcos, a period marked by martial law lifted in 1981, political unrest, economic instability, and widespread protest. Coins minted in this era, particularly with national heroes like Bonifacio, were seen as subtle tools of political symbolism invoking nationalism and historical unity in uncertain times. This coin was part of the second major coinage series under the Flora and Fauna theme, introduced to promote awareness of the country's wildlife and ecological heritage. The reverse side always featured a notable animal. For the Piso, the Tamaraw was chosen due to its endangered status and symbolic representation of strength and uniqueness. It's the last issue year before the coin was redesigned in the 1990s. It represents the transitional period before the People Power Revolution of 1986. Uncirculated or proof versions are harder to find, increasing its collector's value. 1985 Piso coins were heavily circulated, which means pristine versions are scarce. Coins that have retained their luster or were not released into circulation, like proof sets, are of higher numismatic interest. Bonifacio's presence on the coin was meant to inspire Filipino patriotism. As the father of the Philippine Revolution, his image evoked strength, resistance, and a reminder of the country's fight against oppression during a time when Filipinos were struggling under authoritarian rule. His likeness on a coin carried strong emotional resonance. The Tamaraw is a small, stocky buffalo endemic to the Philippines. It is on the critically endangered list, and its inclusion on the coin emphasized national pride and the importance of conservation. It reminded citizens of the country's unique natural heritage and the need to protect it. Unlike other coins of the same series, the Piso coin stood out due to its size and the bold features of both Bonifacio and the Tamaraw. It was easily distinguishable in pocket change, making it a memorable part of everyday life in the 1980s. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas struck large quantities of the 1985 Piso to meet the needs of the economy. However, the exact mintage figures are not widely published, adding a bit of mystery to its production numbers. Most coins saw active use, leading to natural wear and tear. After 1985, the Philippine economy and political system saw a radical shift. The 1986 EDSA revolution overthrew President Marcos, ushering in democratic reforms under President Corazon Aquino. With that came changes to currency, eventually phasing out older coinage designs like the 1985 Piso. By the late 1990s, the Piso coin was withdrawn from general circulation as part of BSP's currency modernization. The denomination remained dormant for a while until it was reintroduced in newer series like the New Generation currency coin series, but with entirely different designs, though no longer in use. The 1985 Piso coin remains a nostalgic item. It represents a particular chapter in Philippine history, both politically and culturally. For many Filipinos, it's a memory of the pre-digital era, childhood pocket money, and a time of national struggle. The coin has modest collector's value today, generally ranging from Philippine peso 20 to 150, depending on its condition. Uncirculated or proof versions can fetch higher prices. Its value is higher to collectors who specialize in coins from historical periods or animal-themed issues. The 1985 Piso is more than currency. It's a representation of Philippine identity merging heroism, wildlife, and resilience. It speaks of a country rich in natural and historical treasures and reflects the journey of a nation that has constantly fought for freedom and recognition. teachers and historians use coins like the Piso 1985 as tools to discuss not just monetary history but political shifts, environmental conservation, and civic pride. It's a tangible link to the past, one that still has stories to tell. For collectors, preserving the 1985 Piso coin involves careful storage, keeping it in acid-free holders, away from moisture and sunlight. The reeded edge and finer details of Bonifacio's face or the tamara's horns are susceptible to wear. Though a local coin, numismatists worldwide recognize it as part of Southeast Asia's unique coinage. Its design is studied in catalogs that document post-colonial nations reclaiming identity through national symbols and indigenous species. The 1985 Philippine Piso coin remains a treasured artifact of Filipino history, combining powerful symbolism, ecological awareness, and patriotic reverence. It encapsulates a significant era in Philippine heritage, whether in a collector's album or a dusty old drawer. This coin carries the legacy of a nation in transition, facing its past, defining its present, and shaping its future. The choice to feature Andres Bonifacio on the Piso coin wasn't simply symbolic, it was ideological. By honoring Bonifacio, the government tapped into his legacy as a working-class revolutionary, attempting to unify citizens under a nationalist narrative. This was particularly important in the mid-1980s, when public confidence in leadership was low. The year 1985 was marked by significant economic downturn in the Philippines. Inflation was high, foreign debt soared, and the peso was weakening. The presence of Bonifacio, a man of the masses, on a frequently used coin could have been a subtle effort to connect leadership with national struggle, though many saw it as ironic, considering the widening gap between rich and poor. Although martial law officially ended in 1981, its effects persisted in 1985. Freedom of the press was restricted, opposition was suppressed, and fear lingered in communities. In this climate, even currency was viewed through a political lens. Coins like the 2 Piso served as quiet reminders of resistance and courage virtues Bonifacio embodied. The 19852 Piso coin highlighted Bonifacio instead of Jose Rizal, who traditionally dominated Philippine currency. This represented a shift in the portrayal of national heroes. While Rizal was intellectual and diplomatic, Bonifacio symbolized direct action. The change reflected a growing admiration for assertive, grassroots nationalism. Prior to the 1970s, the 2 peso denomination existed mostly as a banknote. By the 1980s, the BSP aimed to reduce the cost of printing and increase durability by switching to coins. Coins lasted longer in circulation and were less susceptible to damage, which was important given the economic challenges of the decade. For ordinary Filipinos, the 2 Piso coin was more than money, it was a daily reminder of national identity. Used for jeepney fares, market purchases, and snacks, it passed through millions of hands. Through its widespread use, Bonifacio's face and the image of the tamara became deeply embedded in public consciousness among overseas Filipino workers. The 1985 Piso coin became a keepsake. Many brought coins back from their travels or saved them as mementos. For OFWs far from home, coins were tactile symbols of identity and belonging, small but powerful reminders of home. Over the decades, Bonifacio's image has been revisited and reinterpreted. Once overshadowed by Rizal in historical narratives, he gained renewed recognition in the late 20th century. Featuring him on currency, especially the Piso, was part of a cultural revival that emphasized resistance, independence, and popular revolution. In the early 1980s, the Philippines faced serious environmental threats, including deforestation, species extinction, and pollution. The inclusion of the tamara on the coin highlighted growing environmental awareness. It reminded Filipinos of their duty to preserve the nation. Andres Bonifacio is one of the few heroes who represents the working class struggle for freedom. Unlike other leaders who came from elite or middle-class backgrounds, Bonifacio rose from poverty and worked as a warehouseman. His depiction on the Piso coin honored not just his revolutionary role, but also the power of the Filipino commoner to change history. In 1985, as the Marcos regime was crumbling under corruption, debt, and rebellion, the Piso coin circulated among protesters, students, laborers, and citizens. It passed through jeepney drivers, sari-sari stores, and market vendors. It became a quiet companion of daily life in an era of social unrest and hope for change. The inclusion of native species like the tamaraw reflected a broader effort to rebrand the National identity. Moving away from colonial motifs, this series tried to cultivate environmental consciousness and pride in the Philippines. Unique natural heritage, a subtle shift toward post-colonial self-definition. The Marcos government tried to project nationalism through heroes like Bonifacio, but many Filipinos saw this as hypocritical, since the regime was widely viewed as oppressive. Thus, the coin's imagery clashed with the real-life conditions of 1985, creating a unique disconnect between symbol and reality. Though a nationwide issue, certain regions received more coins depending on population, trade volume, and banking infrastructure. Heavily urbanized areas like Metro Manila, Cebu, and Davao saw wider usage, while more remote provinces may have had delayed circulation, making coins from rural areas in better condition today. The 2-peso coin became a staple in everyday microtransactions, such as paying for street food like kwek-kwek, balut, and taho. For a time, it could buy a ride, a small snack, or a school supply. Its presence in grassroots markets solidified its position as a coin of the people. For many Filipinos, the 1985 2-peso coin was their first introduction to Bonifacio and the Tamaraw. Even those who didn't study much formal history came to associate these symbols with Filipino identity. The coin played a subtle role in spreading historical awareness. Through tactile familiarity, the coin was carefully engraved with an emphasis on sharp facial lines on Bonifacio and naturalistic horns on the Tamaraw. These engraving choices were meant to give the coin a modern, lifelike appeal. The textures used for hair, skin, and animal fur showed attention to design even in low-denomination currency. Collectors and historians often use coins, like the 1985 2-peso, as time capsules, objects that preserve a moment in national memory. When displayed or studied, these coins become windows into the social, political, and cultural tensions of their era. Throughout history, authoritarian governments have used currency to promote ideology. The Marcos regime's decision to highlight revolutionary heroes and national animals was likely an attempt to mask political. Thank you for watching. The 1-peso coin of 2010 belongs to the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas BSP coin series. Launched in 1995, the BSP introduced this series to replace the Flora and Fauna series. This transition symbolized the BSP's increased autonomy and rebranding after it was re-established in 1993. The obverse of the 2010 1-peso coin features the national hero Jose Rizal, a revered figure in Philippine history known for his writings and martyrdom that inspired the Philippine Revolution against Spain. It also displays the inscription Republica ng Pilipinas and the year 2010. The reverse side showcases the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas BSP official seal. The words Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas and Piso are prominently displayed. The 2010 issue continued a design that had been in circulation since 1995. It was minted in large quantities, making it a common coin used for daily transactions. However, well-preserved or uncirculated pieces are now sought after by collectors. Due to their historical significance, the 1-peso coin played a central role in everyday commerce. From jeepney fares to sari-sari store purchases, this coin was a staple of Filipino daily life. It symbolized not just monetary value but also accessibility and utility in the grassroots economy. Using nickel-plated steel helped increase the coin's durability while maintaining cost efficiency. The reeded edge served as a simple anti-counterfeit measure. By featuring national heroes and the BSP logo, the coin reflected themes of national pride, economic independence, and historical remembrance. Jose Rizal, being the icon of Filipino reform and nationalism, was a perfect choice to be immortalized on the coin's face. In 2018, the BSP introduced the new generation currency NGC coin series, and the 1-peso coin from that series featured a completely new design and material. The older 1-peso coins, including the 2010 issue, started being gradually withdrawn from circulation, although many still remain in use due to their durable composition, while the 2010 1-peso coin is still considered modern and not yet rare. It holds numismatic value to collectors who aim to preserve examples of all Philippine coin series. Uncirculated coins, especially those in mint condition or proof sets, are more valuable than circulated examples. The BSP coin series, including the 1-peso coin, received international praise for its modern appearance and quality production. The use of prominent national figures like Rizal also provided an educational and cultural insight into Philippine history for foreign collectors. The 1-peso coin launched under the BSP, symbolizes the post-Marcos economic era and the rise of a more independent central banking system. The rebranding of the currency was aligned with efforts to modernize the Philippine economy in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Due to its essential value, the 1 peso coin was universally accepted across all sectors of society. From urban centers to rural barangays, this coin was a part of daily life. Before the BSP series came into circulation, the Flora and Fauna coin series, 1983 to 1994, dominated Philippine coinage. It highlighted native plants and animals, celebrating the country's rich biodiversity. However, by the mid-1990s, it became clear that the coins no longer met the practical and symbolic needs of a modernizing nation. The BSP coin series, including the 1 peso coin of 2010, was designed to reflect institutional maturity and national modernization. One of the most vivid associations Filipinos have with the 1 peso coin is in the context of jeepney fares and public transport. For years, 1 peso increments were standard in fare adjustments. The coin became a fundamental part of daily commutes, school trips, and errands, deeply embedding it in the Filipino experience. The Bangko Sentral NG Pilipinas, when crafting the BSP series, chose to return to national heroes as the primary imagery. José Rizal, as the central figure of the 1 peso coin, was chosen not only for his historical significance, but also to promote values of education, reform, and nationalism, ideals still relevant in the 21st century. The late 1990s and early 2000s were a period of structural adjustment and economic reform in the Philippines, with major focus on foreign investment, privatization, and liberalization. The 1 peso coin, in the context of these reforms, was often discussed in terms of inflation and currency stability. A stable and accessible coin system was essential in rebuilding economic trust. 2010 was a notable year in Philippine politics. It marked the election of President Benigno Noynoy Aquino III, signaling a wave of anti-corruption and transparency reforms. During this time, the coinage system continued to reflect values of accountability, with the BSP seeking to improve anti-counterfeiting measures and coin durability. The use of Rizal on the 1 peso coin had deep symbolic resonance, especially in schools. Coins became educational tools, teaching children about heroes and civic values. For many, handling a 1 peso coin daily reinforced Rizal's message of enlightenment through education. Coins minted in 2010 were built for long-term circulation. However, due to their widespread use and relatively small value, they tended to wear out quickly in public use. The longevity of a 1 peso coin in circulation often depended on its handling. Coins in banks or collector hands were preserved better than those exchanged daily in markets or jeepneys. The 2010 1 peso coin was likely minted at the BSP Security Plant Complex in Quezon City. This facility is responsible for producing most of the country's currency. Coin production involves pressing blank metal discs under high pressure, stamping them with dies containing the intricate design of the coin. Though the 1 peso coin was essential, public complaints occasionally arose about its similarity in size and color to other denominations, like the 25 centimo coin.